Live from the backstretch at historic Saratoga Racecourse, this is Racing Across America with Seth Merrow. Racing Across America is brought to you by Pinnell's Restaurant, a Saratoga tradition since 1922. 284 Jefferson Street, Saratoga, just minutes from the track. And the Clubhouse Racebook, 711 Central Avenue, Albany. When you can't make it to the track, make it to the Clubhouse Racebook.
Good morning and welcome to Racing Across America on this Saturday morning. Seth Merrow live from our Clare Court location on, again, a gorgeous day. If you're thinking about coming up, don't hesitate because it is, as yesterday was, sunny, no humidity, temperatures just right, a little bit breezy. And Dollar Hot Dogs, don't forget Dollar Hot Dogs all weekend as well. Great stakes racing again today after a big stakes day yesterday. So should be a good afternoon here at the track. Coming up a little bit later on the show, we'll be joined by Jason Blewitt from West Point Thoroughbreds. They have the firster today by Knicks Go, named Ewing. So we'll talk a little bit about their firster. They also have a runner up at Woodbine today in a stakes race. We'll catch up also on Vava, maybe some integration, of course, Sandman, all of that coming up with Jason in a few. And then last segment, Gabe Prewitt from Hoosier coming in. He's going to cover for Fox Sports 2, FS2 tonight. They're going to be looking at racing at the Meadowlands. And so, Gabe, I read on Twitter, first visit to Saratoga. So I thought we'd call him in and have him sit in with us. So he'll join us a little bit later on. But happy to be joined here at the top of the show, Rudy Brisset, after the really nice stakes win yesterday in the Schuyerville with King Salver. Rudy, good morning.
Good morning.
Happy to have you join us after a big day. Before we get to that, though, always like to, because we have people who are kind of new to the game or people who may be sitting here aren't as familiar to some of the players with backgrounds and whatnot. And so I just wanted to, again, hit on a little bit on your background, looking at some of the bio information last night. You started out Racing Academy in France. Talk a little bit about what that experience was like. And are you out on a horse every day? Is that the game plan with a riding academy like that?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we we are lucky enough where we ride in the morning and then you study in the afternoon, and then you try to graduate between 14 and 16, and then when you graduate, you are able to start to ride races at 16. So yeah, you pretty much on the horse every morning.
So did you come in? Was your family involved in horse racing? Did you come in with a little knowledge, or were you a blank slate?
No, not at all. I started to do some show jumping. I was 5 years old. And then a little bit the pony racing around 10, 12, and then went to the jockey school. And I'm the only one in the family who really connect to the races and ride horses, like they say.
Well, then what attracted you at the early age to get involved?
Yeah, just lucky we were having a little weekend chalet with a little lake, and the ranch was like 5 minutes from there. And one day I was 5 years old. I asked my parents if we could stop by, and then got the horse addiction, and then never went away.
That's great. And how long were you a jockey?
I rode about 4 or 5 years. Got a lot of weight issue, so from 16 to the 20 to my 20s, and then won couple races. Got lucky enough where I was second jockey for the Aga Kent, who is a pretty big barn and in France and in Europe. And then did 2 years as a jockey agent, and then but I didn't think that was going to be my future, and start to be an assistant trainer in France for a year, and then came here.
You were a jockey agent for Christophe Soumillon. Now, was that before he was Christophe Soumillon, or did you have him when he was?
We were lucky enough. We won the Arc de Triomphe as a 2003 with Dalakani. So he was the jockey, I was the agent, and it just. Great. One of the best ever, I think. A great jockey, and then, but my jockey agent stint didn't stay for long.
Yeah. Is it the same kind of a gig over there as it is over here for a jockey agent?
Yeah, actually, I was the first one. It was not. Yeah, it was not a job. In France, he got created very late, so Christophe have a lot of experience with America before me. And he came here a couple of times, and then he just bring the ID to me, and we were already friends. And so I was I was officially the first one in France.
Oh wow, that's crazy. So that you have experience on the horse, so you have experience talking to the jockeys, experience talking to the jockeys' agents. So that's certainly a bonus. I assume in the mornings you still get up on the horses.
No, actually,
Okay.
I filled up a couple times that I was lucky enough to ride Mullikin here last month when we came for the True North. I rode him here for a couple of days, but no, I'm pretty much done. I think a lot of wear and tear. I need a surgery actually on my back. I haven't done it, but and I think just we're not gonna grow more, but I think at one point being able to look from the rail and then managing, we have 4 barn right now. I think it was time for me at one point to understand. I think I show enough as a trainer where I think I didn't have to be a rider to get horses in a barn. And so I just I think it was time, and I don't miss it, funny enough.
Do you think it was helpful though for you to be a jockey to translate? Now you kind of know the jockey's life and the jockey speak and whatnot. Was it beneficial to move into the training world with jockey experience?
Yeah, I mean, I think we work with live animal, and everything can change in a second, in an hour, in a day. So I think any kind of experience will at one point be beneficial, to know something about it. So yeah, I mean, I guess he helps me every day,
And you mentioned jockey agent, and then decided to transition over and became an assistant trainer. You came over here, Patrick Biancone, and you were with Wilmot for quite a while. What was the impetus to come over to America?
I was supposed to go to Australia.
Oh, okay.
And actually, Julien Leparoux is the reason why I'm here more than more than anybody. He was already working for Mr. Biancone, and Julien kind of heard I was looking to get out France for get a new experience, learn English and all that stuff, and they contact me, and 48 hours later, here it is. I was here.
Very good, and all leads into yesterday, second race on the card, very early on the card. It was the Schuyerville, and boy, this was a nice performance yesterday by King Salver, who came in as a maiden, ran 5th in the career debut at Churchill, but had a buyer that had a little bit of an edge on this group. So it was interesting from that aspect. But we can see here, King Salver, the number 2 horse, a nice late run to score in the Schuyerville yesterday. Talk about King Salver and what your thoughts were coming out of the debut effort. Again, a 5th place finish, and was the game plan right from there? Hey, let's take a shot at the Schuyerville.
Not at all.
Okay.
No,
okay.
No, not at all. No, I learned over the years on my own. I do like to have option, so I just try to keep my brain not focused on one thing. With the horse. So we knew we were going to come here. We didn't know exactly what race we were going to run, and then I mean, you gotta be able to adapt based on what information you're getting. And I know I was getting some information that race was coming up light. So I mean, we like the filly. So she's maybe not the best one we have, but she's good enough where I thought she fit in there.
Yeah, she certainly looked good yesterday. If that's not the best one you have some others in the barn up here that we can look forward to?
Well, we have couple different ones. It just seems like our 2 years old group is pretty decent in general. You just the fact we already run, I'm pretty sure 5 2 years old for us, it's pretty big. We usually don't run that many before July or August, and everything can come up together very easily and smooth. And to my knowledge, I think we training on the best track in America in Kinland, who I think it's great for the babies, and you can get a good base.
Yeah.
And then from there, we obviously, some of the 2 years old were from the breeze up 2 years old sales, so they are already in advance. And then some of them were yearlings we bought last year.
King Salver had been working down at Keeneland. The most recent workout on the page was at Churchill. Will she stay up here?
Yeah, I think we gotta stick around here for now. I haven't, we obviously it's way too soon to make plan for her, but looks like she come out the race good, and she looks like she's enjoying here so far. So I think we gotta stick around with her.
Now, I was in the winner's circle after the race yesterday. Did I understand correctly? You think there might be some turf in her future?
Well, maybe.
Okay.
She's Omaha Beach, and she's a little bit on the compact, and she took some of the Spice Town mare, and she breezed so fast at the OBSL, the Polytrack surface. You just wonder, seeing the race yesterday, you just wonder it maybe, obviously she can go both ways, but it looks like maybe that's something we can try.
Very good. Early in the meet, so staying up here. We'll see if King Salver comes back. Wish you a lot of luck there, but congratulations on the win yesterday. And just looking, at Equibase at what you had, I also wanted to show you had a stakes runner yesterday, Horseshoe Indy in the Clarksville. Nice second place finish from BG Warrior, a horse that had been working at Keeneland, but was coming off of a race at Horseshoe Indy in the prior start. We're going to see Luna Luska win here, the number 3 horse, but BG Warrior, a nice little second place finish. Any ideas? What were your impressions yesterday for BG Warrior, and any plans for that one going forward?
Well, that's a mare, Gatewood Belbo at the November sale with, she was a hard-knocking mare, won couple stakes. She's, just looked like getting older. She doesn't have the same speed than she used to. Used to blister on the lead. She doesn't do that anymore, but yesterday was really a good race for her. Get another black type, and we tried her on the dirt the previous race. Didn't feel like that was what she wants to do, and so we got back in that spot, and we were very happy with the effort.
Yeah, and again, she's based down at Keeneland. What is, you got horses up here and horses there. So what's your summer like? What do you consider your home base during the summer?
Home base is Keeneland for us, but we used to come here every meet. For my first couple of years, I was on my own. Some client I have at that time, they want to be here. That's fine. And then COVID, the COVID year got very, very tough on us here. We were very short on people, and then it was just very, very tough. So we took a break from it. We were not scared of coming here. We ship in and we run here. Obviously, we won the Forego last year with Mulikin, but this year I just feel like based on the quality of horses, based on where we are right now, it just feel like it give me more option to be able to spray those horses. So we are back here and happy to be back.
How many horses you have up here?
We have 10 stores. Right now we only have 6, but we got to keep turning and try to be active each week.
Where are you, out here or across the street?
Right in the middle. That's a really good spot, actually. Bound 51. We access both track very easily, the turf, and then the paddock, and everything is it's a good spot.
So you're down by the far turn.
Yes, sir.
Very good. Yeah, that is a nice spot. Also wanted to hit on some other horses of yours to maybe look forward to. Going back just a few days ago, Torpedo Anna gets back on track in the Fleur de Lis, but you had Royal Spa in there. Nice second, given it was Torpedo Anna. What was your takeaway for Royal Spa, and what might be the game plan for her going forward?
Well, we take the beer on, but we got beat. That's what No, it was a really good effort. I love the way Flavien Roder. Obviously nobody was really expecting us to take her on, but in the same time, you don't want to leave the horse of the year on the lead going 49 looking around, and she would have galloped. So our filly, I don't think she wants to go. Our mare, sorry, I don't think she wants to go Malanite. We give it a try. I think we make Torpedo Anna run for our money, but now looks like the Royal came out the race in good shape, and we have a couple different options. I would say I'm keeping in the corner of my eyes the Clement Hirsch in Delmar. With a Malan 16 could be a spot we could end up. Depends on couple things. But she's we gotta bring her. She's back galloping now, and we gotta bring her back to the World Club next week, and then go from there. But that mare is everything now is just bonus. The breeder, they kept her, and they're super nice people, and love the fact we were able they won a grade 3, and then now we grade 2 place. So we will see what happens, but no pressure there. No?
Yeah, you look at most of the races, they're sprint distances, but didn't with that Shawnee in the start previous to this at Churchill going 1 mile and a 16th. So you say maybe look out at another mile and a 16th out in Southern California.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
But she's back at Keeneland now.
Yeah, she's at Keeneland.
Yeah. And I wanted to hit on a couple others, didn't pull up replays, but certainly given what we've seen from these two up at Saratoga, I'm curious. You mentioned Mulligan, second in the True North Belmont Stakes weekend up here, but won the Forego here last year. I saw worked at Keeneland, so he went back to Keeneland, worked at Keeneland just the other day. What might be in the future for Mulligan, and will we see Mulligan back up here?
Yeah, I think we were debating. I mean, I have the luxury. I have 2 of maybe the top 5 sprinter in the country with world record, and
that's a pretty good luxury.
I know, and but in the same time, it's a lot of headache because you got to try to keep them separate.
Yeah.
So we were debating on which one's gonna go to the Crosby. It's the only grade one in America, which amazed me. But it's the only grade 1 going 6 furlong before the break.
I've said that for years. American racing is so focused on sprints, but there's so few grade 1s in that division.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
So, we just feel like we were going to pass maybe on the Vanderbilt and go straight to the Forego, and then the horse has breeze last week, really good, and just looked like it could be the right call to come here. So as now, and he's got a breeze tomorrow. My wife and my assistant trainer are over there, and they got to handle the breeze tomorrow. But as now, it looks like we will be coming back here with Mulligan for the Vanderbilt, and then World Record will go the following weekend in Del Mar for the Crosby.
Oh, okay, because I was going to ask about world record. Again, a winner up here in the Amsterdam last year. And he just worked, yesterday at Keeneland?
Yes, sir. Yeah, he worked yesterday, worked very good. I got the report this morning. He looks good this morning. So the plan is to ship him on the 22nd, and then I'll be here with Mulligan and try to jump in a plane and go meet him straight in Del Mar, and then be over there for the weekend. So it's not a bad position to be.
Yeah.
But just the logistic have to be, just have to make decision and logistic.
Yeah, when you're playing with a couple or more horses in a various division, you try to pick your spots, and you don't really want to be knocking heads with your own horse. So we'll look for Mulligan though, and we'll root for a world record out on the West Coast. Again, both having won nice stakes up here last year. Rudy, appreciate the visit. And speaking of stakes winning, we'll be looking for King Salver and where she goes next. It was a nice win yesterday in the Schuyerville, so a nice way to start things out up here at Saratoga. Appreciate your visit. Good luck going forward.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it for your time, and thank you for having me.
All right, we'll take a break. He's in the green room. Jason Blewitt from West Point Thoroughbreds. We'll talk a little bit about what they have coming up, preview and review some of the West Point runners right after this. Stay tuned.
Sometimes it pays to go with the flow, to check your worries at the door, to reconnect with your crew, to follow the thrills and the flavor, to roll with it and see where it takes you, to enjoy every minute to its fullest, and to dance like there's no tomorrow. You can do that here at Rivers Casino and Resort Schenectady, where the good times flow.
For centuries, the bond between horse and human has been forged in trust and hands-on care. Thoroughbred racing is combining that tradition with cutting-edge technology to raise our standards even higher. New investments in wearable biometrics, advanced imaging, and AI help optimize our safety programs.
That opening quarter mile was a quick one.
Every day, a commitment to improving their care. So win or lose, it's safety that runs first. To learn more, visit safetyrunsfirst.com.
Welcome back to Racing Across America on this Saturday morning. Man, it feels like Sunday for some reason. Yesterday was such a big day. But I so far have done well. I haven't made the mistake. It is a Saturday, a gorgeous Saturday up here at Saratoga. And as promised before the break, joined now by our friend Jason Blewitt from West Point Thoroughbreds. And, of course, back in the day, Naira and down at Gulfstream. And he's hit all the major venues. And now you see him on Twitter hitting all the major venues as a West Point guy. Always fun to have Jay join us. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Seth. Always great to join you on here from the 7-8 shoot. And, I mean, it's pretty great being back in Saratoga for another summer.
Yeah, as I say, see you on Twitter bouncing all around and following the West Point horses. And it's always a lot of fun to keep up with the West Point guys. Been friends with you and Tommy and Terry over the years. And Joe now is in the mix as well.
It's a good crew, isn't it? It's a good crew.
It's a lot of fun. And I have said all morning long, one of the reasons I wanted to bring you in here was to talk a little bit about your firster in the opener, who I just love the scenario here. By Knicks Go, Ewing. And you guys purchased the horse down at Ocala back in April, and we have the Ocala workout video here. Knicks Go is new on the scene and kind of a mixed bag. 10 first-time starters so far, a winner, a second, and a third. So they're okay. The Dam has produced some nice little siblings. Tuscan Queen won in her second start. Girl in a Yellow Taxi won the career debut. So I thought there was some win early. That workout on June 17th looked pretty good. And as I say, here Ewing was in the workout at Ocala. Talk a little bit about first the purchase down at Ocala, and then what do you expect this afternoon?
Well, as far as going back to square one when we bought him, I mean, a lot of people liked him. I mean, he was definitely a hot 2-year-old in that OBS April sale. Sold for quite a bit of money. I mean, when you factor in Knicks Go, who didn't really have a world-class pedigree, I'll be anxious and curious to see, aside from Ewing today, how the stud career of Knicks Go plays out, and does he reach like an elite level sire? Because he was, a top racehorse. But we liked him a lot. Powerful breeze, very impressive physical. I remember talking with the girl that got on him in that workout, not only for the sale, but was riding him over at the farm when he was being prepped for OBS April. And she said she loved him, but dreaded having to breeze him because he was so strong. She's like, I couldn't hold him.
I love that.
Yeah. And he's trained. I mean, Mark, the thing with him is, and he'll tell you, he doesn't put a lot of emphasis on winning first time out with the 2-year-olds. It's all about just getting a good, positive experience. That said, and I've watched a couple of these works in person over here. I mean, the horse is fast. He's good at the gate, and he's trained. I mean, he's trained, knock on wood, like a nice one.
Yeah, looking forward to it. And again, Knicks Go, as they said, 10 first-time starters so far, a winner, a second, and a third. But the winner was the only one who's come back for the second start. And I consider win early start 2, start 3, start 4, and we really haven't seen that yet. So it is going to be interesting to see how he progresses, because I think the 1 out of 10 at 3 in the money, I think is very good. But this one very live this afternoon. So Knicks Go on top of Ewing. And again, what was the discussion as far as naming?
Well, we had to come up, especially like the pressure's on partnering up with the Greens, with DJ Stable. We're coming off Sandman, and that's been a ton of fun, and in a lot of respects, like a once-in-a-lifetime type deal with Metallica getting involved. So we had to come up with a good one. And I remember I was never really a big hoops guy. I love ice hockey, but I had a daily news route back in like the mid-90s when I was in high school. So you had Mark Messier, captain of the Rangers, Patrick, of course, Ewing, captain of the Knicks. And, one of them was on the back sports page of my daily news, folding them up before delivery. So I actually tagged Patrick Ewing on Twitter a couple of days ago. I haven't heard back from him yet, but hopefully we can get him in the mix if this horse hits and turns out to be solid.
As a Syracuse guy, Ewing, but then when he became a Nick, I softened on him a little bit. But it's fun. It'll be fun this afternoon. That's race number 1 today. Let's hit on some others, because you do have another one today worth a look up at Canada. Our friends up at Woodbine, we make the trip up there every fall, and typically we see you guys up there. We're up there for that Woodbine Mile weekend, but
we love that summer stage, man. That's our spot.
The 2-year-olds up there getting ready for a Breeders' Cup try. But in the Hendry this afternoon, Gal in a Rush, Miguel Clement trainee, been working here at Saratoga, but has had plenty of starts up at Woodbine, including the win we're going to look here, last year's Hendry. So you would have to think Gal in a Rush is going to be very interesting this afternoon. What are your thoughts?
I like that Eric Consell is heading north of the border to ride her, and of course she's in the black cap, gold sleeves, just angling out. Tricky horse to ride. Typically she breaks very sharp and then she drops back. She's got a powerful run, but it's a short brush. So you've gotta really time it right with her. But I know Miguel and the Clement crew are very happy with how she's coming into the race. She's run exceptionally well and consistently solid up at Woodbine, and I feel good about her running solid today, running another good race. And I think generally, Seth, like I look at her because she's 6 now, I think it speaks volumes to Miguel and of course the late CC, their training program, her longevity, and she's been able to run as a Go Zapper Dynaformer mare at a really high level for a number of years now.
Yeah, and again, it's always interesting. I always like when stakes runners, day-to-day runners, it's a little bit different, but stakes runners, when they come back in a similar stake, the timing and whatnot is always interesting. So winner of the Henry last year, Gallon Rush this afternoon up at Woodbine, Price, the Henry again. And I'll let you speak to that. I had Tommy in here during the Belmont Stakes, Tommy Bellhouse during the Belmont Stakes weekend, and he talked a little bit about it. You guys have a lot of horses with the Clements, and it's just memories. I saw on Twitter, after he passed, which is just such a shock, and he was such a New York fixture, but you said, you were lucky enough to get some conversation with him down at Gulfstream this winter.
Yeah, one of my last trips to Payson before the horses shipped north, I happened to stop by. We had a couple of 2-year-olds, including a pretty nice Lope de Vega colt 2-year-old that we bought, that Christoph actually bought for us over at Tattersall's last fall, named British Invasion, who's getting close to a debut race up here, and one you may want to keep in mind. And I wanted to get some footage of him, and I'm so happy I took a little detour to do that because Christoph was at the barn and I got to spend like a good 10 minutes with him. And regardless of him passing or not, I remember just pulling out of Payson that day on my way to Ocala for the April sale. I felt really good. He was the kind of guy, he was so charismatic and so warm, and when he was talking to you, made you feel like you were the only person in the world, like his best friend. I felt so good just leaving Payson that day, and that's a memory I'm always going to have. And, going back to the Naira days when I was a kid here, my late teens, early 20s, like, guy was always just a pleasure to deal with, and it's still surreal that, physically he's no longer here.
As I say, a New York fixture. Miguel is doing a great job taking over, but Christophe Clement will certainly be missed. Want to hit on some of the other West Point horses and maybe get some thoughts, recent performances, but going ahead as well. And we're going to take a look at one that I think we were all sitting on the edge of our seat just within the past couple of weeks down at Churchill in the Chicago. Vava, who was coming off an 8th place in the the Breeders' Cup Filly Mare Sprint, and then the seasonal debut in the Derby City Distaff. That was also a 7th place finish. So what's Vava going to do? Well, Vava gets back to Vava type level in the Chicago. She's the number 5 horse here. Chart margin is going to be 3/4 of a length, a 99 buyer, a solid number as well. You guys had to be thrilled with this race.
Beyond over the moon. This was admittedly past my bedtime beneath the lights, and it was race 9. Churchill couldn't do me a favor and run it as the 2nd or 3rd. That was worth staying up for. She ran terrific. She's been just an absolute treat and a pleasure to have throughout her career. But like you were saying, Seth, with all due respect, I think in hindsight, the Filly Mare Sprint last fall at Del Mar didn't turn out to be like a great looking race. It was kind of ugly, fell apart. Safi's filly came from way out of it at a big price. So for her not to really fire there, her ballerina Travers Day here, even though she was 3rd on Travers Day in a grade 1, was kind of a subpar effort for her. And then the race Derby Day was poor. You're wondering, does she still want to do it? So it underscores not only how good Vava is, but how good Cherie and her team. I have just I go to bed and sleep soundly, not only with Cherie training, but just our training roster with West Point. It really is like a Hall of Fame roster.
Yeah, Cherie has been fun to watch with her career as she's gone out on her own the last year and a half or so, going very well. And it sounds like, you alluded to the race last year, and it sounds like, we're not sure how she likes Saratoga necessarily. And I was kind of shocked, but decent money and already has performed well. She's going to head to Charlestown?
Yeah. There's a race, a quarter of a mil.
Really?
And she's a nighttime gal. She won the Charlestown Oaks as a 3-year-old fan. I normally don't subscribe or believe in this sort of thing, but she's 2 for 2 under the lights. The race we just watched in the Chicago last weekend or 2 weeks ago, and when she won the Charlestown Oaks as a 3-year-old filly. So no Saratoga for her this summer. Hopefully we win the Charlestown race and get her back, and we can make some amends for a disappointing filly mare sprint last year.
I'm sorry we aren't going to see her up here. She's just kind of one of those fan favorites. It's just fun to root for and whatnot. So sorry we aren't going to see her up here, but understand the situation.
Let's go to Charlestown.
You and I, all right? We'll root for her from afar. You charter a plane,
and I'll hop along. Okay.
Also wanted to go back to the aforementioned Belmont Stakes weekend and the wrap up to the weekend. It was a great story overall. Maybe you guys coming up a little bit short, not so good, but Deterministic gets the grade 1 Manhattan to wind up the meet. To see Miguel get the win was very nice. But Integration, Deterministic is going to be the number 5 horse. Integration for West Point and a Shug train. He comes up just agonizingly short in here. I'm curious, thoughts on this race and what might be next for Integration.
He ran super, phenomenal Manhattan. This race, the Manhattan in general, is my favorite turf race. I've just always loved it, especially when it's downstate. It's always the race before the Belmont Stakes. So to win it would have been incredible, but Integration always runs a good race. He's been a little snake bitten in terms of bad trips. That distance was short in a 16th of a mile. That probably cost him the win. So again, take nothing away from Deterministic, and was certainly happy for Vinny and St. Elias and the Clements. I mean, it was a real nice story, but Integration ran as usual. Solid race, and he's run very well at Colonial Downs last couple of summers. So we're gonna point him to the Arlington Million. He's up here. He's across the street with Shug. Okay. I saw him yesterday. Horse came out of the race in great shape, and I mean he's just been that much short of winning a grade 1. Knock on wood, I think that Colonial race, the Arlington Million, is going to be his spot.
All right, so we'll look for him down there. And before you leave, couldn't let you get away without some Sandman discussion. We are going to take a look at the Arkansas Derby. And I should have pulled up the video, but this is a great horse racing memory for me because we were all down at the Florida Derby. And Terry was there early in the week, but Terry and Joe Bianca and a couple others of the West Point went to Arkansas, but you and Tommy were still at Gulfstream. And so the Gulfstream card had ended, but a whole crowd was in that the
Breezeway, the Breezeway bar, watching, absolutely.
And everybody was on it, and we had some video, you and Tommy jumping up and down. So just reflect on this, and subsequently, goes into the Triple Crown. But we're expecting him up here for the Jim Dandy, correct?
In fact, he's stabled, about 3/8 of a mile from where we're sitting right now. So yeah, the Jim Dandy is definitely on the radar for Sandman. That's a great memory, and yeah, a lot of hugs and high fives, and probably lost my voice for a couple of days after he broke through and got that grade 1 in the Arkansas Derby. Breeze this morning with blinkers on. He went right out after the renovation break here on the main track, a little after 7 a.m. Worked well, really well. I know Mark and company very happy with how he's trained following the Preakness, and we'll see if he can bridge the gap. I have, trust me, Seth, the utmost respect for sovereignty and journalism, and they're unquestionably the top 2 heading into the summer. But the thought is if you can get Sandman to keep trending forward little by little, and maybe with the blinker change, maybe we can bridge the gap a little bit there.
Yeah, and nobody better to kind of make those kind of moves than Mark, and he's been very good, obviously, in the career. But yeah, that was wild. I mean, we're however many 100 miles away, but it felt like we were all right there down at Gulfstream watching the Arkansas Derby, and that was clearly a big victory. And you alluded to it earlier, but there's been a nice little story as well with Metallica and whatnot. You have the
I got the hoodie on, man, my Enter Sandman hoodie. Yeah, if you had told me, so I love music also, racing's my passion, love music. In 5th grade, somebody gave me a Master of Puppets cassette, and not long after, the Metallica's and Justice for All cassette. So I'm a metal rock guy. If you had ever told me that a horse I would be involved with, that it would be on Metallica's radar, and they would get involved, I mean, like a pipe dream and then some. So the whole thing has just been just been nuts with them designing merchandise for us and going to their charity, the All Within My Hands Foundation. It's up on our website if anyone wants some Sandman merch. So it's been a ton of fun, and just even though he didn't win, the experience of having him in both the Kentucky Derby and I was just very, very grateful to have been there for both those races. It was awesome.
You're right. I hadn't thought about that at the time necessarily, but you think, yeah, horse racing and Metallica, that'll come together at some. Who would have thought?
It's nuts. So their manager grew up in Albany. I don't know if you know this story. He's an Albany guy and loved coming up here, loved coming to the spa every single August. So he's a fan of the game and, I guess shared Sandman with the band and boom. And then you had the Griffin Johnson stuff on social media, which was a big deal. So it was this perfect storm of just excitement and showcasing what a great game this is with a fan favorite kind of horse who, tap it, the gray color, and he's a top class horse. It's been not to sound corny. It's been like a magical type ride with him. It really has.
That's fun. It's been fun to watch because I've kind of liked him throughout the career. So it's been fun to watch and root for him. Before I let you go, when you sat down, we were talking a little bit, looking at your Twitter feed within the recent days. You put out kind of a roster of the West Point 2-year-olds. Man, it's a big roster, and you guys play at the 2-year-old sale. Well, the sales overall, you guys are players, and I didn't realize you mentioned Tattersalls earlier. How often do you make the trip?
Pretty much every fall. Okay. David and Gordo and Christoph were both over there last fall, so we jumped in and a couple of horses that Cherie's going to train that David purchased. He's our bloodstock agent. We jumped in on them, and Christoph loved the horse that would in the future be named British Invasion. So that was a no-brainer. So yeah, we try to mix it up: yearlings, 2-year-olds in the spring, and then some Euros in the fall. It's a good deal.
But again, that list looked like you've got some nice ones. You have plenty of them. I'm guessing over the next 8 weeks or so, we will see plenty of West Point 2-year-olds, and I'll be able to be at that big monitor on the bottom floor of the clubhouse, rooting along with the West Point
That's
team.
Our spot. Yeah, we call it the big screen, and it's fun. I mean, it's fun watching with partners and fans, and my wife over the years has, unbeknownst to me at the time, has subtly pulled out her phone and recorded, like Parnack when she upset the flower bowl. There's my invisible pogo stick, jumping 5 feet in the air. So good times, man. I always think it's like, it's what the game does to you. It just happens.
And I always say when I get a West Point guy in, and I mention it when I have other partnerships in as well, that big screen, and to see a group of partners as the horse gets a little momentum down the stretch, it's a lot of fun to be in the midst of that. Also, before you go, I wanted to mention I was checking out the website last night, and I think I sent in a graphic of the West Point web address. You guys have a great website, lots of information, not just for your partners, but for folks in general as well. But if you go to the website and click on the news link, kind of fun, the 2025 Saratoga Challenge.
Yes. And free to play. So hop on, whether you're a partner or not. It's open, contest open to everybody. We've got some cool prizes, and
I win a share of one of your horses.
Oh,
right?
Yeah. We'll get you in on a West Point horse, Seth. So do a good job with your pick. So trainers, jocks, horses, check it out over at westpointtb.com. And as we wrap up here, and not to put unneeded pressure on myself giving out horses on TV, but along the lines of Mark Cassie's barn with Ewing today, continuing the 2-year-old train. We've got a Tis the Law colt named Curtain Call, who ran once at Churchill. The favorite in the Sanford actually beat him, but that horse has trained pretty well since that debut a few weeks ago in Kentucky. He's going to run next Saturday here, so maybe a horse. Curtain Call is his name. Maybe
Curtain Call and British Invasion. We should keep our eyes open for.
And one more, a Bo Liam colt we bought in April with Miguel training, named Grunge.
Okay.
Yep.
RUNG.
Grunge, as in like the grunge Seattle scene. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
You would think that tractor guy would hold. We're trying to film a show here. Come on, man. Huh? Yeah, grunge.
At
Grunge
least
is
we
his
don't
name.
have the leaf blower over here. That was the thing for a few years. I think he kind of figured it out finally. Jay, it's always a pleasure to have you on. Always fun to talk. And folks obviously remember you from your NYRA days as well. And then down at Gulfstream, don't get to see as much. So we always like to plug you in during the meet. And maybe we'll get you in again. Plenty of time left. We'll get you in again before the meet ends. Maybe do a little handicapping some morning in here.
I'd be up for that. Yeah, I'd be
right.
up. It's admittedly with my role now, my job now, don't analyze every card like I used to, but it's fun diving into the PPs and mixing it up. So I'd definitely be up for that.
And I didn't realize you were a paper boy with the Daily. I didn't even know the Daily News had a delivery kind of a thing. I was more of a tabloid guy on the up here, obviously, on the newsstand, but picking up the Daily News and the New York Post for years. It's different now. It's different all print. But I remember Russ Harris.
Yeah. You're talking about a completely different universe on every metric. But yeah, the racing coverage was top notch. And yeah, we could go down memory lane. I mean, just in terms of when I first got bit by the racing bug. So summer of 93 is when I really started to pay attention, and it was like wildfire from there. But I even think back hearing Russ Harris's name, like even the Battle of Saratoga that they had in the paper. So you had, Bill Finley, Jerry Bossert, and Dave Little, I believe. And I mean, it was just entertaining. Yeah, the world's changed a lot. In some cases, maybe not for the better with the racing coverage you got in the dailies.
I understand the situation, but it's unfortunate because the day-to-day coverage, particularly up here at Saratoga, is kind of lacking, and internet is trying to fill in. I don't think it's quite the same, but it's always fun to kind of reminisce about be the old fogey and reminisce about the good old days. But in that case, I think it kind of was the good old days. Jay, again, a lot of fun, and as I say, we'll maybe get you plugged in. Traditional meet a little bit later on, but good luck Ewing today and all the other West Point horses going forward.
I appreciate it. Always good stopping by. You guys do a great job on Capital OTB.
Appreciate that. All right, we'll take another break. When we come back, Gabe Prewitt is now in the green room. We'll talk a little Hoosier, maybe a little sulky side of things, and more. Stay tuned.
It's been referred to as possibly the best equine-themed gift shop on the planet. Impressions of Saratoga. Impressions of Saratoga, celebrating the Saratoga and equestrian lifestyles. It's your number one choice for Saratoga souvenirs, apparel, and gift shopping. We have gifts for the entire family, and we're pet-friendly too. Visit us online at impressionssaratoga.com or come on down. Impressions of Saratoga, 368 Broadway, downtown Saratoga.
Why just watch the races when you can be in the middle of the action? For nearly 20 years, Bonaventure Stables' share-based ownership program has made thoroughbred ownership affordable for the everyday fan. Ownerships of 5 and 10% are now available on a nice selection of horses. As a partial owner with Bonaventure Stables, you'll enjoy all the benefits afforded every owner. Visit with your horse in the private stable area. Greet the trainers and jockeys in the paddock. And when your horse wins, savor the moment in the winner's circle at Saratoga, Belmont, Aqueduct, or wherever you bring home the prize. Based in historic Saratoga Springs, Bonaventure Stables has been training winners and creating memories since 2005. Learn more, see available horses, and meet our team at bonaventurestables.com.
Welcome back to Racing Across America. Seth Merrow here, again, live from Clare Court. Always fun to be here. They herald the track for this weekend, and they've been kind of jogging behind us. It was a little bit different on Belmont weekend. They didn't have the track open then, but it's been fun, as always, being back here on the backstretch, particularly on a gorgeous Chamber of Commerce morning like this. As promised before the break, joined now by the VP at Hoosier, Gabe Prewitt. We remember him from his Pompano days, the captain, the general, the commandant of the Send It In Army. Gabe, good morning.
It's great to be here, Seth. What a jewel. I mean, first trip ever to Saratoga. It's been amazing so far.
And you got in yesterday, so you got in soon enough to get a little experience.
The late double. Okay. I did not catch it, by the way, but I did get here to see it.
You should have looked at my dark horse play of the day. It was the last race.
I would have had
although I don't think, I would have not been good on the double either. The race before I was not as good. Talk a little bit about, when we talked to you on the phone it was a while ago, because it was kind of the kickoff of the Hoosier meet, and you're brand new there, the VP at Hoosier, and looking at your Twitter feed, it looks like the Hoosier season's going very well.
It's going really well. The harness industry in general, North America, is down about 15%, so it's been a little bit of a rough ride overall in terms of handle, but we're actually, bucking the trend, at least up about 20% so far.
Nice.
On the new season, so it's great. We implemented a lot of the low takeout wagers. I think we have 12% wagers on each and every card, shuffled up the betting menu quite a bit, so shameless plug here, pick 4 carryover tonight, Hoosier Park, for about $6,000. But that's the thing. We want to have a betting menu that the public really responds to. So far, so good on that angle.
Talk about how you got into the horse racing game. You're a UK graduate, so did that play into it at all, or were you into the game beforehand?
Yeah, I actually grew up on a horse farm about 30 minutes outside of Lexington. So as you and I were just discussing off air, in my college days, many were spent doing the doubleheaders with Keeneland and Red Miles. So I grew up dabbling the thoroughbreds. My father was just a very small-time breeder, about as small as you can get, one mare. We bred about every other year, so I got to follow it a little bit like that. Went to the track again a lot as a kid. And then I went to college in 2001, and I moved right across from the Red Mile, the harness track there. So that was my first introduction to harness racing. I'd never seen a harness race literally until, I came to college. And my buddy said, hey, you can go gamble on these things. I just had the carts behind them. That sounds fun. So we went over and took it in and never left for that matter. So lots of days in my younger years spent at the track through college.
Yeah, when you sat down again, we were having the discussion, and I said I became a fan of horse racing across the street. I had a couple of friends who were more into the game. My family wasn't at all. So in high school, I kind of got into it. We'd drive up here in the summer, and so that was really my introduction across the street at Saratoga Harness, and the doubleheader used to be the thing during the summer up here as well.
Less than 24 hours, but it seems like an easy place to fall in love with horse racing if you spend much time around these parts.
and talk a little about your first day in Saratoga. What's it been like?
It's been amazing. My good friend Wally Hennessy, who of course, his kingdom across the street over at the harness track for many years at Pompano Park as well. He picked me up from the airport, brought me in. Of course, we didn't miss a beat. We came directly to the racetrack like anyone would like to do. Like I said, caught the last couple of races. Went out to the lake last night, had a nice dinner. What a beautiful lake, nearby. I don't know exactly where we ate at, but a really good dinner. And then this morning, just been around downtown. It's just staying right downtown, so it's just been a beautiful place. And as you said earlier, the weather couldn't be any better.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. It's a great day at the races. I did want to tip my cap to you, because we're going to talk in a minute about Meadowlands. You're in town to cover that tonight on FS2, but I did want to tip my cap and let you talk a little bit about and brag a little bit about your home track. I pulled up, I saw on Twitter, and this is, again, for a guy who at my young age started across the street, this is just amazing. We're going to take a look at a race from Hoosier a couple nights ago, a 2-year-old. And I believe you tweeted out career debut, Dancing Dreamer. Final time here is going to be 1:50.4. The final quarter, 26 flat. Again, for a guy that started over here where breaking 2 minutes was just fireworks went off, to see this kind of thing, this was an incredible performance.
It really was, Seth. This is amazing. But the back half here is actually getting quicker. You see under no urging. The back half is going to be 54 and a fifth. So they actually, we're getting home quicker, and you see them just accelerate away. And to put this in perspective, it's early July. Harness racing at time is a big deal. This horse is by 2 full seconds the fastest 2-year-old in North America right now, and that's a fifth of a second a length. So you're looking at a horse that's so far career debut 10 lengths better than anyone. And the scary thing is, he's probably going to get better each time we see it.
Yeah, I mean, that's the career debut. And as they say, I may be like a broken record when I talk about harness racing, because I say it all the time. The 150 and 4 and a 26 last quarter. And I said to somebody the other day, it's like when I was a kid, I watched Star Trek, and it'd be like, well, now they're actually going warp speed and we're visiting Klingons. It's that kind of a thing, that to see these kind of times as compared to when I first got in the game, it's mind-boggling. And you don't have the same improvement on the the flat side with the thoroughbreds, but I think a lot of it also is the equipment has just changed significantly.
No question. I think it's really two things. I think the equipment is, they used to have the wooden sulkies. They were heavy. You can literally pick up one of these race bikes with one finger now. They're so light. Aerodynamics have improved a lot, just the way the guys will sit in the bike. And then I think even most importantly, just as much as the equipment, is the breeding. The standardbreds, as many will remember, used to be heat racing, go multiple heats the same day. They used to be a big, durable type horse. There's more sleek, athletic, and it's just been a game where the breed has evolved so much. They've been bred for speed, and more speed. And as you can see, the results, they're just getting fished. Somewhere we have to draw the line, but it's not going to be anytime soon.
Just absolutely crazy. And the equipment has changed, and the breeding has been interesting. And I remember, speaking of breeding, I go back to the day, Nia Truss, who jumped over the rail here, was taken out of the bedding. The rest of the field was bedding, and then Nia Truss jumps over the rail here at Saratoga, but wound up having a little bit of his breeding career right down the road, right down towards Malta for a while. So that was kind of fun as well. Let's talk a little Meadowlands, because that's why you're in town. You're on FS2 tonight. I think we have a graphic from 8 to 11. You're covering the Meadowlands and Scioto Downs. It's going to be you and Chris Griffin here, Jessica Otten at the Meadowlands. And I'm assuming that this was her sister. I didn't know there was another Otten.
That's right.
Jenna Otten out at Scioto as well.
That's right. Jenna's based out of Scioto. Year-round, the great facility out there in South. I was actually going to host the Breeders' Crown next year.
Nice.
They built a brand new paddock. They built a brand new grandstand. So really a huge investment with the group out there in Southern. So nice to see them get rewarded. They've got some cool races tonight too, because if you're a big fan, obviously, of the thoroughbred game, the Pegasus World Cup, the buy-in type slots, they've got what they call the next generation. So they sold these slots months back, $10,000 a piece. The track kicks in another $60,000 on top. So they're $150,000, and they're all 2-year-olds, and it's their first career start. So it's like, you buy a little bit of a lottery ticket. We'll see how it lands tonight. So that's exciting. Sort of the marquee races, at Saturday tonight, and then the Meadowlands, we got a couple of those graduate finals named for Stan Bergstein, who very famous name for many years.
And I pulled up a couple of replays. We'll start out leading into race number 5, one of the Bergstein races tonight. We'll look at Nijinsky. Second and third place finishers out of this are also coming back tonight. What did you think in that race 5?
Well, I think Nijinsky's the one to beat. He's been just vicious. I mean, this was a mile last time, just right in the lead. Narrowly held on, but held sway. I think pace makes the race. It's just going to be all about that early tempo. The good thing for him is he's got a perfect mid-pack post. You shouldn't have to work too hard to make the lead. I think if he doesn't get roughed up, clearly the one to beat.
Right, and also Private Access had the replay there, if the replay comes up from just recently, and that leads into race number 7 tonight. Again, another Bergstein race.
Yes, and this was a horse that had to make a bold move to make the lead, but when he did there, really drew off here through the stretch. But with half a length there, a little bit, got a little bit interesting here late. But you see Louis Waugh on the bike; he's just cruising here, pretty comfortable, and he's got both favorites tonight, so he is well armed for those big money finals. And one thing about it, Seth, this is these horses are 4-year-olds. It's sort of the last 4-year-old restricted race in harness racing. They now move on to the race against aged horses, 5-year-olds and up for some of those 4-year-olds. And you see a nice closing mare there too, Alista Hanover. She was second for Hall of Famer Dave Miller. Mare, she's got post 10 tonight. She's going to be a big price. If that tempo was quick, she was like 30 to 1 there last time. She loves a target. I think she's a little bit of a sneaky long shot in the same event.
Very good. And I heard you say, I think you tweeted it out, that you and Chris are in the studio. I'm assuming the studio is the 10 out by the paddock?
Well, they've discussed both. I'm not familiar. I saw that studio yesterday, but I guess there's also one in the grandstand. With
there is one out in front,
too. Less insects, they say, late at night. So maybe that's the one.
But studio, I was thinking studio. I'm pretty familiar, and I'm thinking studio, but then I thought, no, I'm sure he means just one of one of the tent situations over there. So as I say, you and Chris Griffin will be here, and you'll have on the scene correspondence as well, Meadowlands and Scioto tonight. So that's 8 to 11 on FS2. Nice sulky side action over the years. Again, we caught up with you 2 weeks before the closing of Pompano, which it's just so frustrating that really the jewel of harness racing in the wintertime is no more. But obviously, you're in the announcer's booth down there. Did you cover any other breed? Have you announced, thoroughbreds, quarter horses?
Usually, Pete Aiello, I don't like to admit it, but he's a good friend of mine down at Gulfstream Park. So usually a couple of weeks a year that I'll go down and fill in for him in November. Parks for Jessica Paquette. I've been there, several times over the last couple of years, to do a week here and there. When I get a chance, and I've always wanted to come to Saratoga. So I'm really thankful for this opportunity. When Eric Donovan and the team there at Naira with Fox Sports reached out, it's originally slated to be On Track with Jessica at the Meadowlands, but Paul Verderosa, who does a lot of the shows with us, he had scheduling conflict tonight. So, when the opportunity came up to try and come up here and check out Saratoga, literally for the first time in my life, I jumped at it. So I've been really excited to be here. Yeah, when we talked to you in earlier this spring, when you just started Hoosier, I said, still going to see you on Fox, and you said, "Oh yeah. We'll get plugged in," and always great to see you doing the Fox broadcast. And you had Wally Hennessy with you, and I was going to mention in my days, it was J.P. Morrell and Percy David. Old timers like me will remember those names. Kim Crawford, but now Wally up and making it kind of a home base from Pompano. Jessica Hallett, who is the photographer down there, does a great job. Fantastic. Across the street as well. So it's kind of fun to see that connection also. Gabe, really appreciate the visit, and hopefully we get that plug in again. Another visit up here. Oh, and you said you're going to make a stop down at Goshen for the Hall of Fame. Absolutely. Hall of Fame banquet tomorrow. We've got a great class of inductees. Goshen is, it's a quaint little town as well. It actually sort of reminds me a little bit of downtown Saratoga, sort of similar like that. They have racing tomorrow afternoon there at the Goshen Historic Track. I think the oldest track in the country for that matter. So that's always fun to check out. The Hall of Fame race, Wally will be driving in that. So then we'll get all dressed up and go to that banquet tomorrow night, and then we'll actually circle back because I'm going to go to the first half of the card over at Saratoga Harness on Monday with the new first post. So it's a busy time, but there's nothing I would rather be doing, believe me. Very good. Again, as I say, when I saw on Twitter you're going to make your first visit to Saratoga, I knew we had to get you plugged in, so I appreciate you coming over this morning. Enjoy the afternoon, and really the whole weekend sounds like a lot of fun as well. Across the street also on Monday, but have fun. All right. Thanks, my friend. Great to be here. Again, you can check out Gabe and Company tonight, FS2, covering the sulky side of things from 8 to 11. All right. We'll wrap it up here on this Saturday morning, Racing Across America. Seth Merrow and Company. A little bit earlier, Anthony Mormino with the handicapper support. A little bit earlier here, Rudy Brisset. Appreciate his visiting. Jason Blewitt. Always fun to talk to Jay. And we'll do it all again tomorrow morning. But tomorrow morning, Loose on the Lead with Steve Bick. Steve will be in to co-host on the 10 o'clock show, so we'll let you go. But great racing this afternoon right here at the track. If you can make it, it's a gorgeous day. If not, Clubhouse Racebook, 711 Central Avenue in Albany. You can enjoy that as well, or watch on the network and play at home also. But back tomorrow, 9 a.m. handicapper support, 10 a.m. Loose on the Lead. See you then.
For centuries, the bond between horse and human has been forged in trust and hands-on care. Now the sport of thoroughbred racing is combining those timeless traditions with cutting-edge technology to raise our standards of equine safety to the highest level. Wearable biometric devices measure subtle changes in a horse's stride to help optimize safety and performance. State-of-the-art imaging technology helps pinpoint areas of potential concern for early intervention by expert veterinarians. And the sport's new independent regulator, the Horse Racing Integrity and Safety Authority, is using AI and enhanced data modeling to help prevent injury.
Opening quarter mile was a quick one.
From sunrise to sunset, there's an ecosystem of trust and care and a commitment to well-being. So win or lose, it's safety that runs first. To learn more, visit safetyrunsfirst.com.
You've been watching Racing Across America. Racing Across America has been brought to you by Pinnell's Restaurant, a Saratoga tradition since 1922. 284 Jefferson Street, Saratoga, just minutes from the track. And the Clubhouse Racebook, 711 Central Avenue, Albany. When you can't make it to the track, make it to the Clubhouse Racebook.